What's going on, guys? It is your boy BG, and today we are down here at Bahamas Marina in Fort Lauderdale, and you might be wondering why. Obviously, there's not a lot of boats here, so it is not Flibs, there's not a boat show going on. But we are here for another reason, as this is a very popular launching destination for people to leave from to go over and take their boats down into the Bahamas, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. For those who've been around the channel for a while, you might remember we used to take you guys on some of our Bahamas trips. It has been a long time since we've done that, and today we're going to go ahead and do that. But one thing I always find that's interesting is some people think it's difficult to go ahead and get your boat and take it over to the Bahamas, and the reality, it's pretty simple. And in fact, today we're going to show you guys the simplest way you can do it, is we're actually joining one of the Bahamas boating flings that's led by the Bahamas Tourism Ministry, and we're going to take you along and show you guys the process and how you can join one of these as well. So hang out to the end of the video, hit the like button now, and let's get this one going. So here we are at the captain's meeting at Bahamas, and this is hosted the night before each departure with the Bahamas group. If you're ever interested in doing one of these, I highly recommend it. This group will walk you through everything you need to do to get you, your crew, and your vessel to the Bahamas. Now, our crew's been doing these Bahamas trips for many years, but I do remember the stresses of that first trip, trying to figure out what it took to get into another country, and kind of the fears of crossing the ocean on your own. These group trips kind of eliminate some of that and help take some of the guesswork out of the process of getting it done. So they really are a great starting point for those who've never done the trip and looking possibly to do a trip with the safety of numbers of having other boats around. Now, all that being said, even as seasoned boaters who have done many Bahamas trips, we still really enjoyed going on these trips, as it's always nice to meet new like-minded boaters and of course make new friends. Alright guys, if you can't tell by my voice, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. We are Bimini bound. So we had our captain's meeting last night, had a nice dinner, and now the group of us is heading out. So when you're joining these flings, you'll be joining other like-minded boaters. So for example, on this particular trip, we actually have 22 boats who are joining us and heading out to Bimini. Here you can see several of those boats coming out in front of us right now. So we're on, this week, a Boston Whaler 325 Conquest is our vessel of choice, but to be honest with you, on this trip, we've got, I believe the smallest vessel is the one in front of us, is a 22 Pioneer. So it doesn't take a big boat necessarily to be able to go to Bimini. Anybody who's got a fairly capable vessel that's in good shape probably can do this trip. Now, the Bahamas trip that we're on here with the government of the Bahamas, they do have a minimum requirement. I believe that minimum requirement, you have to have at least a 22-foot boat to join these trips. So always keep that in mind if you're gonna do it, at least with these guys. But again, today, it's gonna be a little choppy. We're getting lucky, at least when we first left the dock, there was not a breath of wind, so we're hoping for it to be calm, even though they're actually calling for 3-foot seas. And for those who know, 3 foot at 4 second typically actually is not a fun ride. I know it doesn't sound that bad to people who don't typically go offshore, but to be honest, you're gonna get rocked around pretty solid on this. Now, the boat we're on, we're in pretty good shape. Like I said, a Boston Whaler 325 Conquest. This boat's not gonna feel much. We just gotta get up on top of it a little bit. But some of the smaller boats definitely will have a little bit more of a time with trying to deal with these conditions. But we're gonna see what it's like to get over there. And you know, we've already done all of our click to clear stuff, so we're pretty much good to go, 7 people on the boat. But it should be a fun morning and a fun start to a trip. And here we go. We're gonna go ahead and cross the Gulf Stream. Here again, I'll show you guys some of the crew. Like I said, I believe that's the Pioneer in front of us. I believe to the left, that's the Gamefish 30. But there's 22 boats. And what we'll do here is we'll meet everybody in the turning basin and kind of try to stay together as a group. Again, one of the points of a trip like this is for everybody to kind of stick together. Now we're gonna jump ahead of the group a little bit, just because we are, me being a boating ambassador with the Bahamas, we're gonna go ahead and lead out while they do their final roll call, and we'll get a mile or two offshore and be able to radio back to everybody and be like, hey, you know, we're 2 miles out, we're cruising at 30 miles an hour, to give everybody an idea what the weather conditions are like. But right now, it looks pretty solid. And if you can't tell, we're not the only ones going. We got the big yacht back there coming with us and the whole crew lining up here as we go. So, should be a fun morning. So here we are departing. One of the things I'll always say about any video you ever watch on a crossing, video never does it justice. This one's really not crazy bad. We're probably in 2 to 3s at about a 4-second period, which is just enough to make it annoying as you continually pound, continually take spray over the bow.
And that leads me to the number one question we get asked about these trips all the time, and that is, how long does it take to get to the Bahamas? Well, that question has no real good answer. Every boat's a little different, and of course, as you can see here, every day the weather's going to be a little different as well. Some trips are going to be nice, sunny, sunshine and rainbows. Other trips are going to be just like this one, where everybody's getting soaked as you're trying to cross the Gulf Stream.
I got a full facial, shall we? Nice.
Now, I would rate this crossing just about normal. It seems like almost every time I go, the majority of the crossings are this, that 2 to 3 and about a 4-second period. Again, just enough to kind of make it where you have to work to get to paradise. But for us, it took us a little over 2.5 hours, and we did finally arrive in Bimini.
Well, as you can tell by the flags flying off of Miami Living 305's boat, it is a windy one here in Bimini. It was a rough crossing. We were on the 325 Conquest, and it was a little over 2.5 hours for us to make it over here. We were running around 30 when we left Fort Lauderdale, and then the pace significantly slowed down. We were running about 30 miles an hour when we left Fort Lauderdale, slowed down to about 20 in the middle of the Gulf Stream, and I mean, it was a pretty brutal crossing. We were taking waves over the bow, even on the 325. But now that we're here, it comes to the important part of the things you need to do. So we're over here staying at Fisherman's Village. You can see here, at least that's where the boat will be living for the next few days. So the first thing we got to do is clear customs and immigration. And in order to do that, if you're over here at Resort World, coming from Fisherman's Village, or even over on the other side, you're going to go toward these buildings here. But once you wind up getting over here, you walk through the straw market, you're going to see the Bimini Immigration's office. I can't film inside any of these places, but that's where you will go first. Will actually be immigration. And then you will come around to the side of the building, and over here on the side is where you will actually find the Customs and Vessel Clearance Office. So that's where you will go next. All right, straight down you're going to see the Customs and Immigration building, and that's where you would go after you're here to check in. Now, one of the last things you'll do if you've already got your slip assignment is you're going to want to come over and see the dockmaster. So golf carts are in plenty of abundance here. This used to not be the case. You can tell what the economy has changed a lot over here.
I'll tell you what, this is one of the few islands in the Bahamas I probably would not book a golf cart in advance. Wait till you get there where you can negotiate the price and pick the cart you want. This is the dockmaster's office. After you're assigned your slip, come over here, make sure they have a credit card on file for water or power or anything you'll need from there. And if you rented a condo on site, this is where the Homeowners Association is. That's where you will pick up your wristbands and things you need to enjoy the facilities over here at Resort World.
All right, so one of the first stops you'll want to do when you guys get into Bimini is probably grab some food, and a great spot to do it is at Edith's Pizza. And it's not necessarily even because of the pizza, it's because the pizza comes with a view. And they open a little later today. We got here right around noon, and she wasn't quite ready yet, but we just sat here, man, and I'll tell you what, it's better than air conditioning. The freaking view's beautiful. We had just a beautiful breeze the whole time, and as you guys saw me walking around earlier, it's windy, planes are flying, but now we're gonna eat some grub. Definitely gotta check it out when you come. Here comes the airplane though.
Turbulence on it?
Yeah, he had something wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so you can see, guys, that it's a lot better over here. So that's one beautiful part about being on an island, is when one side's windy, you can typically go to the other side and it's nice and calm. So even, we were just talking about this, on a windy day, on the backside, you could easily go over to Radio Beach and still find some stuff to do. Three Sisters Rock would still be calm over here. And this is the Gallant Lady, what's left of her. But this was a shipwreck that'd been here on the coast of Bimini for quite some time. But over the years, she's taken a beating, and there's not a ton left. It used to be a fun spot to snorkel. There was a lot of fire coral though, so you would have to watch out for that and make sure you didn't touch anything crazy on it. But this one was just a quick golf cart ride away after we left Edith's. But look at the water. The camera never does it justice, even with 10-bit color right now. When you guys see this, I'm not gonna color grade it, but it's still just beautiful. And for any of you Bimini Bahama experts out there, anybody know what this used to be? It looks like it used to be some sort of resort or hotel. It's been here it's been abandoned like this for all of the 15 years that I've been coming. But, I mean, you can even see their structure back there underground. I don't have a clue. I wonder if it was some sort of old fort, maybe? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you know what this might be, because this looks like a munitions storage type room, right? But no earthly clue what it actually was. And not a bad way to start here in Bimini. So this is day one after yesterday's crossing, and we're over here at the first plane wreck. It's a little rough today. I don't know. So there's a second plane wreck that a lot of people don't know about. We're gonna try and hit that one up while we're over here. I don't know if we're gonna do it today though, with the way the wind's blowing. It might be a little rough. And I can tell by where the watermarks are on the landing gear, we're at a lower tide and it's in shallower water. But still, this is one of the reasons you come. We're also gonna go try and fish here in a little bit as well, and that's one of the other reasons to come. So, but once again, you know, everybody you see out here for the most part is with us. So if you're looking for a safe way to do these trips, these group crossings are amazing. So again, everybody kind of came out and enjoyed the day with us out here, and everybody got across yesterday. They wound up with 20 boats, I believe, that wound up crossing in the end. And everybody took care of everybody, made sure everybody was okay. But just another fun way of doing it. What's going on, guys? And it is day two. Unfortunately, I did an absolutely horrendous job of recording on day one. I just wasn't paying attention and really didn't grab the camera a whole lot. And that's one of the things that happens when you're here enjoying life in the Bahamas. So yesterday we wound up, as you guys saw, we hit the first plane wreck up. We did go by the Sapona, but unfortunately it was just so rough. We couldn't anchor up, but we kind of already knew that was gonna be the case because it's been super windy here. Even today, it is crazy. The wind's blowing about 20 miles an hour. So the crew that we're all with decided they were gonna go over to Radio Beach, which is the calmer side today, and relax and just chill on the beach. We're gonna go do a little bit of trolling and a little bit of fishing, which is what we wound up doing yesterday after hitting Honeymoon Harbor for about an hour. And we caught some Spanish mackerel, caught some triggerfish, obviously a few barracuda. If you fish in the Bahamas, you're gonna catch a couple of those guys no matter what.
Ready to bleed on. Some smile on you. Shark! No! Bit him in half! Damn!
And we're gonna just see what we catch today, but we're going to try and make it over to Great Isaac's Key. Now, Great Isaac's Key is about 25-ish miles north of Bimini, but it's an amazing spot if we can make it over there. But we do have one little problem, and that is, you can see the flags in the background. The wind is freaking blowing. If you can see the ships off in the distance, if you look at the bigger yachts kind of back in the corner over there, you can really see those flags whipping. The wind is blowing about 20, 25 miles an hour today. Going to make a very, very bumpy ride if we decide to go to Great Isaac. So we're gonna see how everybody feels. Kind of the plan right now is we're gonna take off, troll for a little bit, start heading toward Great Isaac. If we get a few miles in and we just say it's not worth it, it's not worth it. And we'll just stop and come back. But let's get day two started. I promise I'm gonna do a little better job of recording today.
So it was a little rough, just as projected from the wind, but the boys were super excited about this one because they'd never been to Great Isaac's. If you're not familiar with this, Great Isaac's was a manned lighthouse all the way up until 1969. The facility was originally erected back in 1859, but since the 1960s, it has been an abandoned island after they automated the lighthouse. Lots of ghost stories around this one, but the real big highlight here, probably some of the nicest water in the Bahamas. I would compare this to the water in the Exumas. It is absolutely pristine around this island.
I didn't see any urchins right here, but just make sure you
I didn't see any urchins either, but there's big holes in the coral, so be careful.
It is slippery and it's not very Let's get up.
Take my hand.
I got about 12 enemas already.
You guys don't have shoes, or are they in the bag?
In the bag.
And the old walk up to Great Isaac's. The birds are a little crazy now. I haven't been here in a few, watch, there's some glass here, guys. I haven't been here in a few years, but that's the first time I've ever had the birds try literally and attack me. I was having to smack at them with the GoPro just to get them away. But these are the old buildings here.
So the island is filled with dilapidated buildings from when the lightkeepers were still there, but of course the original lighthouse still remains intact and on the site. It is, however, becoming very decrepit with time. Now, I feel like the water here is an absolute stunning feature around this island, but obviously the lighthouse itself is one of the large focal points of this island. Now, I'm not guaranteeing access to this. According to everything I can find on the internet right now, the island itself is considered open to the public and is quite frequently visited by local boaters. But however, the Bahamas government recently has removed some of the stairs at the bottom of the lighthouse to try and limit access to it. I have to imagine that is for safety reasons.
So the crazy part of this right here is this stuff's been here for 10 years. It doesn't look like it, but everybody comes in here and they're like, oh, somebody's on the island, but I'm telling you now.
More beef stew? More.
I don't even know if they make that anymore.
Goya frijoli negros?
But if you get abandoned here, there's something for you to eat.
This really is one of my favorite spots around the Bimini Island chain. It really is one of those things that you've just got to visit if you're going to Bimini or you've been going to Bimini and never made it over to this island. The water here is something different. Bimini has beautiful water as a whole as well, but nothing, and I mean nothing, like what you're gonna see around Great Isaacs. The closest thing I can compare this to is if you've ever been to the Exumas, around the Staniel Cay area, stuff like that, the water is even clearer than there.
So we've left Great Isaacs and we are over at Hen and Chickens, which is a little outcropping just off the island. You can actually supposed to be Great Isaacs off in the distance, but we're gonna go ahead and do a little trolling on the way back to Bimini. Waves have picked up a little bit, so why not? If we're gonna go slow, let's get some lines in the water and go slow with those. So see if we catch anything today. I didn't get a whole lot of footage from it yesterday. I probably showed them already, but we got a little mackerel, a little triggerfish yesterday, of course a couple barracudas, and we're hoping for something nice today.
Barracuda.
Yeah.
Wait, the other one, two barracudas.
Yeah, I told you. I think you just got.
You both got barracudas. Nice. Hold it. Don't reel it through.
Oh, wait,
Maybe
it's right there.
keep-
It's right there.
Yeah. It's great. Another one, yeah.
Try and eat it. Oh. It's sitting right there. See it?
Yeah, I'm gonna reel it up. Oh, got nothing in it. Yeah. Throw some bait stay like right that. You can hook another piece on that. Throw it right up if you want to grab it, dude.
So we wound up spending a total of 3 days in Bimini, and this is us departing on our final day. Now the person's boat we're on in this video, this was his first time ever captaining a trip over to the Bahamas, but again, he felt super comfortable doing it in a group setting with a bunch of other boats who were all going along. But overall, we had an amazing 3 days. And really do recommend, if you've ever thought about doing a trip going to the Bahamas, absolutely do it. It might seem a little intimidating, but overall it's a pretty easy experience, especially if you do like we do, enjoying one of the Bahamas flings. Those can be found on Bahamas.com under the boating tab, and you can sign up and register right online to join one of their flings, and they will walk you through the process. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're heading to the Exumas later this month. Hope to bring a video back on that. But if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here, and we'll see you in the next one.